With the addition of the new Angry Spell and Ruin Witch, these are the best attack strategies you can use with the new update content for every Town Hall level. Starting off at Town Hall 13, where we have the Yeti Witch. This uses the Angry Spell within the CC, so you can control your heroes and Yetis and Witches into the base. So to keep things very simple, we're going to be using 2 Yetis and 2 Witches on either side to create funneling. This is going to allow us to actually move into the core of the base, where we have our Yetis, our Witches, Log Launcher, along with the King, Warden, and Archer Queen. This is where then we'll use an Earthquake spell in order to weaken the walls, while using an Angry spell in order to get everything to go in towards the core of the base. This is going to ideally control enough of our troops as we work into the core, where we can take advantage of our heroes' abilities in order to get value. The Royal Champion can also be used on the flanks to snipe off any splash damage defenses, and as we work in, we can use the Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots of the King, and once a good amount of splash damage has been removed, we can then use our Bat spells. This is where we're using our free spells over splash damage defenses, namely any multi-target Infernos and Wizard Towers and Scatter Shots, especially here at Town Hall 13. Otherwise though, you can just use your free spells on other defenses, and overall, you will be able to dominate most bases with this. You're just using the Angry spell for that one limited use case, which is going to be controlling your troops into the core of the base so long as there are defenses nearby. As for Town Hall 14, we have the Mass Super Hog Army. This again uses the Angry spell within the CC, but this time to control your hero dive into the base. So for this attack, we want to start off with the Royal Champion Charge. In this case, we're going to use the Rocket Spears early so we can establish a bit of control, but also get some nice value in the process. Otherwise, we want to make sure that we're getting as much of a compartment down as possible, as this not only creates a bit of funneling for our heroes, but also for our Super Hogs. So we want to make sure that we're using our invisibility spells every 4 seconds, but don't be afraid to turn the defense invisible if you want to skip them. Otherwise, you just want to get the most amount of value possible from your charge, so that way, once you run out of invisibility spells, you can recall her out. You can also use a few wizards in order to remove trash buildings, but you should also ideally use the Yetis on the other side to create funneling. This allows you to then move into the base with your Archer Queen, Ice Golem, the Barbarian King, and the Log Launcher in order to work in to get some nice value. I do obviously recommend taking an Earthquake spell to maximize the damage on walls to make it a little bit quicker to get through with the Log Launcher, and with the Angry spell, you can use that for both your heroes and CC troops in order to make sure they're able to get really good value. You can use a Rage spell followed by your hero abilities like the Giant Gauntlet and Rage Vial on the King, and this should allow you to get some really good value while focusing on defenses. So that way, while the core is being deleted by your heroes and CC troops, you've got the Super Hogs to work around. I do recommend taking some normal, regular Hog Riders to control pathing, but as you go into something like the Town Hall, using the Eternal Tome is definitely essential alongside a heal spell to keep everything topped off. Just make sure to use your regular Hogs sparingly so you can control the pathing of your Super Hogs so you're able to get enough value out of them and still move around. Obviously, having an extra heal here would be great, but keep in mind that they are 2 troops in one, so while you may lose the combined troop, you'll still have the Super Hog and the Super Rider respectively, and for the most part, you'll be able to 3-star more often than not with Super Hogs at Town Hall 14. They're very powerful, and the Angry spell just gives you that extra option. Just make sure you have some form of cleanup with any leftover wizards, minions, and any leftover Super Riders in order to 3-star more consistently. Moving to Town Hall 15, we have the Root Rider Smash. Since the Angry spell is unlocked here at Town Hall 15, we're able to take fuller advantage in different ways alongside heroes like the Dragon Duke and Archer Queen. So with this attack, we're actually going to start off with a Sui Queen. This is using just the Archer Queen, no Barbarian King, and we're using the Monolith Arrow. But we're not doing a Queen charge. We're doing a mini sort of Queen dive with invisibility spells and the Angry spell. So long as she stays within that range, we're able to get a lot of value from using the Angry spell, where we can use our invisibility spells back to back in order to get the most value. Keep in mind, you'll probably have to use multiple super wall breakers in order to get the queen in, but this is a viable option. The angry spell allows her to become defense targeting even without the angry jelly pet. This allows you to then recall her, and you can then use the Dragon Duke with his rocket backpack and angle him perfectly with the flame blower thanks to the angry spell in order to get value from that flame blower jetpack combo. This allows us to set up funneling on the other side with Super Barbarians and the Barbarian King in order to then send in our Root Riders right the way through. We have the recalled Archer Queen alongside the Grand Warden to provide additional support. Yes, we're not running any Overgrowth or the Royal Champion, but that doesn't really matter all too much. We also have the Magic Mirror on the Archer Queen. This allows her to still be play an active role in the strategy, but as we continue to work ourselves around, we have the Skywagon Siege to provide additional air troops to protect our healers, in addition to having one of the Ruin Witches in the CC. This is going to allow us to start spawning in a few of the Ruin Knights, but we can also use the Eternal Tome as we reach the core of the base to protect everything. So this way, what we're able to do while the Ruin Witch is working is having the Root Riders kind of easily work their way through, and with the Ruin Knights, they're able to provide additional value and support. The Archer Queen with her Magic Mirror is able to provide a lot more damage in the core of the base and allows us to easily get through. So even if the Grand Warden goes down, we have more than enough troops, especially with the Ruin Witch spawning them. But other than that, this is a very strong option. And if you don't want to use the Queen Dive, you always have the Royal Champion charge instead of using the Archer Queen. For Town Hall 16, we have mass Electro Dragons. These guys are particularly strong, and the Angry Spell is able to force them into the right direction alongside help of the new Ruin Witches. So for this attack, we need to funnel two different sides, one side with the Dragon Duke and the other side with the Archer Queen and her giant arrow. The Duke has the Angry Jelly, so we'll need to use a few baby dragons in order to clear out trash buildings so we can use the Ruin Witches. We're using the Ruin Witches here to provide Ruin Knights to actually clean up the outside of the base, give maybe a little bit more distraction for any heroes that are on the outside, while also making sure to set up funneling. This way, we're able to send in our E-Drags with the Skywagon, the Minion Prince, the Warden, alongside using a Rage spell and the Angry spell in order to control everything to go in the right direction into the core of the base. This is where then we can continue to use things like our freeze spells and tome spells in order to minimize a lot of that damage, and we can use the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome to protect everything alongside the Dark Orb of the Minion Prince in order to get more value. Otherwise, we can then just continue to use our support spells in order to make sure that we are also protecting our Ruin Knights, and otherwise, this should be a really dominant 3-star. The Ruin Witches do not need to get a ton of value. You don't need to send all of the Ruin Knights into the core. They get value by just staying behind, so it allows you to have a really nice way to create good funneling and cleanup for your attacks. As for Town Hall 17, we have the Meteor Golem Smash. The Angry spell is a very useful spell for this, as the Dragon Duke charge can get insanely good value with it. So with this attack, we want to first start with the Dragon Duke charge. Now, we're not going to use the Angry spell immediately, because then that would force us into the wrong direction. In this case, we want to clear the Rage spell tower compartment. This is going to allow us to get some really good pathing, so we want to make sure that we are using this in order to create pathing for our Meteor Golems as they work around. But with the Angry spell, we can then leave the core and focus on defenses only, allowing us to get a lot more value with this Dragon Duke charge, especially after he moves past the core. So we can control exactly where he goes and how much value we're able to get before he starts going for trash buildings. Otherwise, we're gonna then be able to set up a really good path with our Dragon Duke, so we have the Meteor Golems over on the other side with a nice funnel secured. This way we have the Archer Queen and the Grand Warden to provide support. We also have a few Super Barbarians to control the pathing of our Meteor Golems, alongside the Barbarian King in order to control everything. As we work a little bit deeper into the base, we obviously have the Skywagon Siege to offer support, and we also have the Ruin Witches to provide the Ruin Knights in order to either move into the base to help and support the Meteor Golems or to clean up the outside. The Overgrowth is there to minimize a lot of damage and allow us to get in more comfortably before it expires. This way, what we're able to do is just have a ton of troops working into the core with the Meteor Golems and the rest of our heroes, where we also have the Ruin Witches and the Ruin Knights to just go on the outside, clear out trash buildings, so we basically have everything secured with most of our main push with the use of any rage spells, the totem spells, etc., in order to power through the core of the base, especially towards the back end, while we also then just have cleanup and pathing control with the Ruin Witches, removing rubble and providing the Ruin Knights to clear out additional trash buildings, making it a lot easier to get through the base more comfortably. Obviously, you'll have your hero abilities like the Archer Queen with her action figure and magic mirror to do increased damage behind those Meteor Golems, and overall you should have a nice wall of troops with the Ruin Witches providing so many, and this should allow you to 3-star more often than not with the Meteor Golems at Town Hall 17. Finally, for Town Hall 18, we have the Super Yeti Torch Smash Army. This again uses the Angry spell with the Dragon Duke charge to secure a lot more value while using the Ruin Witches to provide a nice support on the outside of the base. So for this attack, we want to start off with the Dragon Duke charge. Now obviously you could use the Angry spell here if you want him to go for defenses, but in this case we're able to funnel a little bit of the outside before working in. This way we're able to use our invisibility spells every 10 seconds, making sure to interweave the invisibility spell and Spirit Fox invisibility. This is where then we can use the Angry spell alongside invisibility spells in order to make sure that he's getting enough value and staying on track with defenses nearby. This allows us to get a really nice funnel set so he doesn't start wandering towards the outside. This is where then we can run the Archer Queen with her giant arrow or magic mirror and action figure alongside the Royal Champion with her Seeking Shield and Rocket Spear to set up a nice wide funnel. This allows us to create a really solid funnel to work in, so we have the Super Yetis, the Ice Golem, healers, the Warden, and obviously the Skywagon to work in. You can use the Ruin Witches on the outside, on the flanks, in order to, one, provide a lot of cleanup, but also maybe to have a few of the Ruin Knights actually work in, so that you can then use your Eternal Tome and Heroic Torch to start working into the core. You can use an Overgrowth to minimize damage and control funneling, while using a Freeze over something like the Revenge Tower, while still using that Rage spell in order to power them through the core. This then allows us to have any of our totem spells to be used to distract defenses if need be, if you are taking tome that is, and if you have that Super Valkyrie in the CC, you can provide so much damage for your Super Yetis and Electromites, especially towards the back end. Otherwise, the Ruin Knights are just easily cleaning up buildings, and for the most part, you should be able to dominate most bases, as Super Yetis are very powerful, especially with the Heroic Torch, and this new update will help a lot. Regardless of your tunnel level, you'll be able to use the new Angry spell and Ruin Witch in a wide variety of different ways and with different strategies. But if you do want to see what the best and worst hero equipment are for every hero, I recommend checking out this video here, while YouTube says you might prefer this one instead.